I'm in Nusa Dua again, and I wanted to take a walk today in an area where most people won't walk, but I thought might be a bit interesting, and that's on the road side of all the hotels in Nusa Dua, that little inland area away from the beach. I've already done a walk along the beach about a week ago now, and if you are interested in seeing what the beach down here looks like, you can actually look at that video in my profile. But today I wanted to go a bit inland, maybe have a look at a couple of the hotels. There is a little, like a mall type arrangement there that I wanted to have a look at. And it might give you an idea of what sort of things there are here in Nusa Dua outside of your hotel area. And if you wanted to go for a walk away from the beach, what it actually looks like. So let's get stuck in. I'm actually starting off today at the very southern end of what would be called Nusa Dua, mainly because I want to go into the St. Regis resort, and they've got a little cake shop there that it might be okay. I don't know anything about it except that the St. Regis has some of the best brunches in the whole of Bali. Like, it's got a really good reputation, and a few of the viewers of the channel have really recommended I go down there sometime to get a brunch, which I haven't got around to yet. It looks good on their website, but the next best thing for me is going to be obviously go and get a coffee and a cake in that little cafe. If that's up to standard, well, we know the rest of the places as well. And I'll walk through the St. Regis to the other side, the roadside, and then walk north from there. See where we get to, see what we can see. There is a bit of construction going on over here, which I think is the ex-Novotel. I actually thought it was still here when I was down here last time, but there's nothing there except an old hotel that's sort of being renovated or rebuilt, and a bit of scrappy land. The beach over on that side, through the bushes, is actually still really nice. Like, it's a really good part of the beach. I'll show you one of the best parts of the beach actually, down here. Look at it, isn't it beautiful? Just beautiful. There are no people here though. That's the funny thing. No people. If you go too much further south than here, you get into what is called the Bukit. I think a lot of people just call it Uluwatu now, but it's not really. It's the Bukit, it's the hill, isn't it? Bukit means hill. It's the area that's raised from the rest of Bali, that peninsula area, and that's not far from here. I can actually see the cliffs from here. Okay, we're walking into the area of the St. Regis. Oh my, that is one of the best beaches I've ever seen. That is just incredible. They've got staff outside there sifting the sand and raking it and that sort of stuff, and they've got all these sun lounges for the guests of the hotel. Wow, that looks pretty spectacular. Isn't that amazing? I like all the palm trees too. I actually got told in my last video I'm not allowed to say the word palm tree because a palm is actually not a tree. So there you go. At first glance, these beachfront properties here that are part of the St. Regis seem to be what they call residences. They're like big villas. They look amazing. And I guess you then have access to your own private little beach area as well. Well, it's not a private beach area, but private sun lounges. The beach is a public beach, anyone's allowed down here. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? Quite nice. I don't know how to get in yet. I just turned up another path and the security guard said, no, that's not the way. That's like a staff entrance or something. So trying to get in here could be a little bit tough. Might ask these dudes sweeping the beach, see if they can help me. Look at that pool, isn't that amazing? That goes all the way up there, all out the front of all the different rooms. They sort of somehow, not all the rooms, but some of the rooms actually connect to that pool. And it's got a big jungle feel to it, which looks pretty cool. I don't know if this is connected to the other pool, but I've walked quite a long way, and there's this part of the pool here which goes through, it's like a creek, but it's a pool, and it goes into that section there. I think it is connected to where I was before, actually. It is, and it goes into a little shallow section with a sandy area, with a shady bit. Wow, this is sort of turning into a mini review of the St. Regis because I'm trying to cut through here, trying to find my way to that little coffee shop. Okay, it looks like I've found it. I'm up near the reception now. I mean, it's probably going to cost me an arm and a leg to go in here, but who cares? Hello. Good, good. Just looking for maybe a coffee and cake or something like that. Wow, these cakes look good. So it's 10:30, early April, and it really shouldn't be that hot out there, but it is. The winds have already changed here in Bali and the dry season is upon us. It hasn't really rained at all. Yesterday, funnily enough, we did get a bit of a sprinkle of rain and some thunder, even though it was clear blue sky. That was a bit weird. Maybe there was a storm skirting by somewhere else. But it's just, apart from that being beautiful weather. Okay, so this is the story, nice little coffee. They give you a little, like a jar full of cookies. I guess that's sugar, yeah, sugar, brown and white, and then that's the cake there. Like, it feels like really fancy. It feels good, you know, like it's not my normal style, but everyone loves a bit of luxury sometimes. Let's give the coffee a go. Oh, it's a hot one, like a really hot one. While I'm waiting for that coffee to cool down, I might just get stuck into this cake here. So like it seems, they call it chocolate and vanilla, but it's got like a chocolate mousse on top. Then some sort of, I don't know, moussey outside. I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm gonna have to destroy it. Oh. Wow, that is good. That's really good. It's like a mousse cake with a bit of crumble in it.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, see ya. Oh, beautiful, beautiful cake, beautiful coffee, nice. That was one of those situations where I got a little bit carried away, just sitting back and relaxing. It's so nice and cool in there, just sitting back having a coffee and, but I've got to move on. I've got to actually have a look at this inland area of Nusa Dua. Oh, look at that, that's the St. Regis reception. That's beautiful, isn't it? Okay, we're finally out of the St. Regis. I'm going to turn right along this road. This is this road which basically goes straight through the centre of the Nusa Dua hotel complex. So I'm just a little bit out of that particular complex now, but I will get back in, and it does sort of go all the way through the centre of it. And there are a few things to see, not just the hotels, there's a couple of restaurants, and there is sort of like a mall section I want to have a look at as well. I mean, just along here, outside the St. Regis, you've got a Starbucks and a Pepito supermarket. So you've got real life just outside some of the resorts, not far, not a sort of a large walk. So when you're staying at some of these resorts, you can actually get out into reality. If you just want to get something like normal from a supermarket or a piece of fruit that you don't want to buy from the resort, you can go there. So Nusa Dua over the past decades has really grown up. It's moved from being like an all-in-one complete package thing where you're trapped to something a little bit different. You can get everything you want in the resorts for sure, and the quality's right up there, but they've loosened up a little bit, and you can sort of go outside of the property bounds and sort of eat other stuff, you know, go and shop somewhere else. Doesn't have to be stuck in the resort. So around this area, you've got lots of like little mini markets. You've got the spa and massage places. I actually thought this was, there looks like, on Google Maps, looked like there was a road that goes past the hotels to the right. That's where I sort of expected to sort of cut down, but apparently it's someone's private property. So I've got to go up to an intersection up here, a couple of 100 metres, and go back the other way. But that's all right. It gives me a chance to look at a few other things up here. Like there's a pizzeria up here, Pizzeria Romana. There's another mini market, Coco Express. Like, it's just real Bali life here. So like if you were staying at St. Regis, for example, like you'd have heaps of options outside of the resort just to mix it up a little bit. Like there's even a laundry place over there, so you don't have to get stung by the laundry expenses in the hotel. Another hotel on the left there, that one's called the Grand Bali Nusa Dua. Looks like a well-established one as well. There are some hotels here in Nusa Dua that are not beachside. They're sort of inland a little bit, and they sort of, I mean, they're gonna have to be cheaper, I'd say, because they don't have that beachfront access. But everything's pretty close to the beach here anyway. Like everything's within walking distance of the beach. So if you really like the beach in Nusa Dua and you don't have the budget for one of those beachfront resorts, you can always go to somewhere like that, because I think you save a heap of money. Bluebird taxis around here, easy as you like. I remember when I first came to Nusa Dua, there are no taxis allowed into the resort area. So if you wanted to get picked up from your hotel and go somewhere, you had to use the hotel transport, which cost a fortune. So you'd sort of try and find a car and a driver that was hiding in the bushes and try and negotiate with him because it's much cheaper. But now there are options when you're inside the resort area. You can always call up a Grab or a Gojek or a Bluebird and get them to pick you up. Just on that point though, I remember seeing on social media just a couple of weeks ago, there was some sort of argument between two locals, and one of them was a Grab driver, and he was being stopped by a local for some reason, because there is still some friction there between locals and these online companies. It happens all throughout Bali actually, where the local people don't want people from outside of their local area picking up customers. Passing by the Mercure Hotel here in Nusa Dua, just like that. Again, come outside the Mercure, you've got all the things that you might want. Spas, little mini markets, laundry, little shops. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So I'm just turning right here This is the road that leads down to the main area of the resorts here in Nusa Dua. So it's another access point to most of the resorts. Down here, of course, you've got all the arts and craft shops lining the road. So it's a pretty good place to do a little bit of local shopping as well. But it's also where local people are going to be able to help you out with stuff. So if you need a car and a driver for a day, these people are going to be able to help you out for sure. A little warung there, they can do nasi goreng, mi goreng, laundry across the road, a tailor. So, a money changer up here as well. A tour operator that's sort of operating in the back of one of these shops. So all the stuff that you want here is along this road, straight outside. Maybe if you know the Ayodhya or the Grand Hyatt, a short walk away from there, you get up to these little places. Nusa Kitchen's a pretty famous one around these parts as well. Nusa Kitchen, give that a go if you want something a little bit different away from the beach, a little bit cheaper, a little bit more Bali pricing. Look at this one, Bali Benny, made to order. Does leather products, can make you suits and dresses and business suits and wedding sort of gear as well. So this is a sort of part of Nusa Dua that I really wanted to show you, which is different to the resort feel. So if you sort of got into Nusa Dua and you sort of felt a little bit trapped and it's not really what you wanted as far as the eating arrangement goes, or it's a little bit too resort style, all the local businesses are out here setting up lots of restaurants, lots of cafes. You know, I can even see like it looks like a Japanese restaurant across the road called Kagura, you know. Like there's heaps of those places that they aren't far from the resorts. I'll show you sort of how close we are when we get to the Ayodhya front gate just up here. So that's the entrance to the whole Nusa Dua resort complex, and just over there is the Ayodhya, and then Merosaka is just there, like the entrance gate. And then the first sort of general eateries outside of the tourist zone or the resort zone are there. That's where the Japanese restaurant is, and you go further up that road and then have a bit of a walk along or wander along and have a look at what else is available. Just across from that statue over there's a little road down that way. It goes down to the beach. It's called Pantai Mungiat or Bungiat, depending on who you speak to. Like the road name, I think, is Mungiat, but I've heard locals call it Bungiat as well. So I'm not really sure which one you're supposed to use. Maybe it's used interchangeably. That's a really nice beach. Probably my favourite beach that I've seen so far here in Nusa Dua. And there's public parking down there for 2,000 for motorbikes, 5,000 for cars. Interestingly enough, when I was down there last time, I got charged 4,000 for parking for my motorbike. The guy asked for 5, I said, I don't have any change. And he goes, oh, just give me 4. Now, there was no sign there, but this time when I got there was a sign that said 2,000 for motorbikes. And I thought, oh, hang on a sec, last time I got done, the guy ripped me off. So, but anyway, it's only like 2,000 extra, but it sort of like gives you a bad feeling, doesn't it, when someone rips you off like that? Okay, just let me explain a little bit about how this resort zone works and what that means. So there was a resort zone set up in the 80s, and this is the original resort zone. Has a boundary to it, has gates where there's security guards, and there's paths sort of, like there's a path over here, for example, on the inland side of the road, which connects all the areas, and you can get a little push bike from your hotel, or you can walk. Beautiful for prams and wheelchairs as well, nice and flat. This is the old resort zone that had a fixed number of hotels in it. And those hotels are all joined up by a beachfront path and also a path on the inland area, which is where I am now. And so it's not really a through road so much. You can come in here as a member of the public, but it's not really a through road. The through road sort of inland a little bit more. Actually, the road that goes past the St. Regis is the main through road. And the main issue in the past was that because it's not a through road, vehicles coming in were screened, and they may even be to this day, I'm not sure. And that really sort of hampered how you're going to get around a little bit. They're a little bit more loose these days with the rules, so it means you can get around a lot easier. And immediately outside the gates around the place, there are places to eat and laundries and shopping alternatives as well. So you're not sort of trapped like you once were in the old days. Sort of Nusa Dua's evolved a little bit, grown up a little bit, become a little bit more modern. For those wondering, I'm about 95% over my illness now. My voice is sounding pretty normal and I'm feeling pretty normal. My sort of body heat is not so high anymore, so I can walk a little bit more freely in this sort of heat. but I'm still not 100% over it. Like I feel just a lot more tired than I normally would do. So pounding the pavement in this heat is like, it's not pleasant, I've got to tell you. Now, as we get around here, there's a little area in the middle over there. You can probably see a couple of shops and stuff. That was sort of like almost like a town square back in the day when I first came here. I think it says Bali Collection. Is that the name of the whole area? I'm not sure what they call it. Yeah, I think they're calling it Bali Collection these days. It's like a mall, like an open air mall. It's like the central village of Nusa Dua, and there are a bunch of restaurants and cafes, and there's a Starbucks in there as well. And that's a pretty good option as well if you don't want to sort of eat resort food. I will go over there. I'm just going to nick into the Grand Hyatt first, because there's a cake that one of my viewers, Kev, has been telling me I have to go there. Kev said to thank him because he gave me the tip to go there, and that this is wicked. So thanks, Kev. This is wicked. I haven't even gone there yet, but we'll find out. If this cake is no good, Kev, it's on you. All right, here are the cakes. Kev reckons I need to get the Black Forest cake, but they don't have one, so I'm going to choose the next best thing. So at the same Regis, so I forgot to sort of say how much the prices were. So the coffee was 98,000 and the cake I had was 70,000, inclusive of tax. That's quite, I mean, that is expensive, but on a worldwide, I don't think that's expensive at all. I think when you're looking at world standard cakes and stuff, like it's not a big deal at all. And I expect to sort of pay that sort of price in a resort like this. I thought it could even cost more. I'm not sure how much this one's going to cost, but I wouldn't be surprised if I have to pay, you know, 200,000 for a coffee and a cake. I wouldn't be surprised for that, but we'll see. In my previous video, someone said I drink too much milk, so this time I got a black iced coffee. And I'm sorry, Kev, but there's no Black Forest cake, so I'm going to try this cake here, which is like a caramel apple tart with some sort of cream on top. That's a good start. It's a very good start. Right, that's good. You're right, Kev. That is a good one, Kev. It's wicked. All right, this is the Grand Hyatt. Beautiful place. I mean, I love the Hyatt Regency in Sanura, and this looks to be every bit as good, doesn't it? So the coffee and cake here, 170,000 inclusive of tax. The cost of the coffee, I think, was something like 70,000, something like that, when you include tax. So the price of the cake and the coffee was the opposite way around to what it was at the St. Regis, but the total price is just about the same, 170,000. Again, it's expensive for Bali, but I'm okay with it. Like, the quality is just there. The thing at these places as well is that usually the head chefs or the chefs in charge of departments are international chefs. Now they go around to all the big hotels all around the world, so they're world-class chefs. And you've got to pay for that quality, I think, and it really is world-class at these places. Amazing. All right, let's get back onto this road, see what else I can find out here in the inland sections of Nusa Dua. I think just across the road, I'm going to go to that little mall, outdoor mall type area, see what the story is with that. The other thing is with Nusa Dua, there is a public bus that comes here that can take you to Kuta. And the one that comes out here, I'm pretty sure also goes to the airport at times as well. I'm not sure, but you can always check on the Trans Metro Dewata app if you want to catch the public bus around here. It's a pretty good system. You're going to need one of those tap cards as well. I'm not sure where you get one of those around here. By the same token, if you want to come to Nusa Dua and you're staying somewhere else in Bali, you can catch the bus here from wherever else you are, like whether it's Sanur or Ubud or Kuta or whatever. You can eventually get here on buses by chopping and changing. It costs you 4,400 for the entire trip. Okay, so this is Bali Collection. Let's see what's going on here. I can see a bit of construction going on over to the right. This is just across the road from the Grand Hyatt. There's a cafe there called Dua Cafe, which is packed, absolutely packed. Looks pretty good. I actually first came here and last came here 2002, and it was interesting because when I came here, what the staff were first, this is the first time I ever heard it, what the staff were saying to get me into their restaurant was, yes please, yes please. And I thought, that's weird. Why are you saying yes please to me? Like, yes please, yes please. And it was just so odd, sort of inviting me into their little restaurant. Over the years, as I've learnt the language, I I now know what it means. A lot of the time what people do, they translate the word silakan to please. And it's just wrong. It doesn't mean please. Silakan is sort of like go ahead or something along those lines. You're welcome to do something. It's not you're welcome, but it's sort of like, please go ahead, almost like that. But you can't just translate it to please, which is what was happening back in the day. Oh, that's nice. A little juice shop there, Juice Nusantara. It's a nice little mall, actually. Really nice setup. Not that many customers here, which is a little bit sad, actually. Oh, there's a few. Yeah, so silakan is a really interesting word in Indonesian. It's sort of giving someone permission to do something. Yeah, can I do something? The response is silakan, go ahead, please go ahead. Right, heaps of clothing shops around here. There's a coffee shop, like that's a coffee bar there, looks pretty good. Sunglasses shop, Dos Hermanos. There's a Starbucks over there, which is interesting as well. There's a little Greek restaurant called, I think it's called Ia, is that right? O-I-A, Ia. Ia's that place in, I think it's in Santorini. I think I've stayed in Ia before. And when you first go there, you always say Oya, but then the locals say, no, it's Ia. They've even got a Subway here. There you go. Garlic restaurant. It's actually a nice little mall. Like if I was staying in Nusa Dua, I'd be probably down here most days getting my dinner and maybe doing a bit of shopping and that sort of stuff, because it is quite good. When I came sort of in 2002, it was pretty dead. It feels a little bit that way at the moment, but because it feels a lot more established, it feels like you've got a few more people here than what I remember back in the day. There's a pharmacy there, Guardian Pharmacy as well. The thing is, given the size of those resorts and how many rooms they've got and how many guests they can hold, it is a little bit surprising that this is not a lot more crowded, because you'd expect hundreds of people to be here. I mean, there actually was a cafe / restaurant back there that looked really full, but there's not really people sort of walking around and browsing and that sort of stuff. It's funny, I actually just got another yes please. Yes please. Come to a dead end. There was a sign back there that said beach, but it looks like it's just a construction site now. So it's sort of a bit of a dead end down this way, which is a little bit unfortunate. So I'm gonna have to head back out the same way I came. The one thing that I'm a little bit curious about is that there don't seem to be that many bicycles around here. I would have expected all around Nusa Dua, everyone's getting around on bicycles, because it's just the perfect place to get around on a bicycle. There's lots of great flat paths around the place. And if you had a bicycle, you could get around everywhere. Like a bit in Sanur, you always get around on bicycles, or a lot of people do, especially along that beachfront path. But here, not so much at all. But it just really, for me, calls out to bike riding. If you're staying in one of those resorts and maybe you're a kilometre away from this little mall, like it's just a perfect place to come on a bicycle rather than having to beat your way through the sun on foot for a kilometre, which is what I'm doing. Okay, we have another Japanese restaurant here. The most popular restaurant / cafe out of all of those is a place called Akala. There were heaps of people in there. I mean, maybe 50 people, whereas some of the other ones are not so full. I don't know why that is. Sometimes you get people clustering in the same place. If they see someone else go in, they go there as well. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best, but it's certainly the popular one right now. There's a cool looking billabong shop as well. It's actually a lot bigger than I remember it. My memory of this place wasn't like this at all. Maybe I didn't really acquaint myself that well in the past with it, but it's just really enormous, this place. It's actually a pretty cool place to come. If you're staying in Nusa Dua, like this is one of the places to come for sure. Oh, there you go. That's the cool shop, isn't it? Deos. They do some really cool motorbikes, don't they? Not sure if you can see that bike there, but they're selling it for 80 million rupiah. It's like an Aussie modded bike. That's pretty cool. I don't think that's very expensive. I actually thought those modded Deos bikes would cost a lot more than that. This is something I haven't seen before. Pasar Rakyat. Pasar is market. Rakyat is sort of like community or the citizenry, that sort of word. But this is pretty cool. Look at all that. Homewares, we've got shell necklaces and pendants and things to hang up and dream catchers and all that sort of stuff. We've got clothing, dresses, jewellery. Pasar Rakyat. That's pretty cool. Oh, there you go. Pasar Rakyat. Well, that's another place to do a bit of shopping as well. Seems to be a performance stage there as well for something as well. Oh, very interesting. Now, it's good that they're actually filling in some of these spaces with things to look at, things to do and see. Oh, I'll get into the little back section of this Pasar Rakyat as well. Little arts and crafts in here, magnets and souvenirs. Yeah, sarongs. Braid your hair. I don't know if there's any braid your hair, but that's what just sort of came to me as soon as I said, you want sarong? I just met this security guard. He's from Sumba, ya, dari Sumba.
Sumba.
Udah lama di sini di Bali.
Dari 2023.
Oh ya, kenapa pindah ke sini?
Datang kerja sini karena di sana
Kurang ya.
kecil uangnya.
Dan naik apa ke sini?
Naik kapal.
Kapal pelni.
Enggak, pakai ini airport.
Oh ya ya.
Pakai
Pesawat,
Ya,
pakai pesawat.
1.500.000.
Oh ya, kalau naik pelni berapa?
500.
Ah ya
Tapi
ya.
3 hari 3 malam.
Oh, malas ya. Dan ada banyak kecoa juga. Harus kirim uang balik ke
Ya, ke orang tua.
Ya, pasti biasanya kayak gitu ya.
Ya.
Oh.
Datang kerja di sini.
Ya, ya, makasih ya. Ya.
Kenal ya, namanya siapa?
Nama saya Adam.
Adam, nama saya Dami ya.
Damianus Lalo. Oh, Kristen?
Ya, saya Katolik.
Katolik, banyak Katolik. Oh.
Kamu?
Ada salib. Kristen.
Oh, Kristen.
Ya. Makasih ya, Damianus. Ya, oke.
Semoga
Ya.
rezekinya banyak.
Ya, semoga sukses.
Sukses.
Yeah, okay. Nice, eh? The guys from Sumba are such nice people. So they're the people from the east of Indonesia. A lot of the times, because in Indonesia, everyone's from sort of different, what they call suku. Suku is actually like ethnic group, almost like tribes. It's almost like tribes. So everyone's from different suku here. And so people are sort of pigeonholed into certain, well, we do it in the West as well. When we know a person's from a particular ethnic group, we often just characterise them as a particular type of person. You know, those stereotypes usually aren't true. And one of the problems here is that a lot of the people from the east of Indonesia, you know, get spoken about quite badly when they're here in Bali, you know, because their character is a little bit different. They're a little bit more forward than the people from Western Indonesia. One of the things in Indonesia is that you need to be sopan santun, you need to be polite and quietly spoken, especially if you're from Java. Yeah, the people from the east are a little bit more bold and brash. Oh, nearly got bowled over on the footpath by a bike there. And sometimes that's seen as rude because the people in the west of Indonesia, you know, find that sort of character, if it was local, is a bit rude. Whereas it's not really rude, it's just the way people are. You often get that with the Batak people as well. Batak people are from inland Sumatra, and they are a lot more direct and a lot more loud generally. And some people find that attitude or that character to be rude, whereas that's just the way that people speak to each other in the Batak culture. So, yeah, just understanding some of those stereotypes that we hear. You've got to take a lot of it with a grain of salt, as we do in the West when we stereotype people as well. I just turned around and I got caught up in my spiel there, and I'm going the wrong way. I'm headed back to some of those hotels I've already been to. I got a bit lost. So that up here on the left, it was on my right when I passed it, and that guy nearly bowled me over on the bike. That's called Nusa Dua Central Parking. That's where the bus comes to. So it's quite a central area in Nusa Dua. From here you can walk to most places. Seems like in that central parking area there's a bunch of taxis as well. So if you ever have a problem getting a taxi here, go to that central parking area. There's a bunch of taxi guys waiting there to take you to wherever you need to go. You see that sign there? It says the Nusa Dua. I noticed that that happens quite a bit in Indonesia, where they'll just chuck a the in front of a couple of words when they want to sound a little bit more, upmarket, I guess. It sounds a bit weird because it's Nusa Dua, it's not the Nusa Dua. And you do hear that from time to time. It's like, don't do that. The other thing is you sometimes see DE, D something. I remember back in or D apostrophe. I remember like about 10 years ago, that was the rage. All the new cafes were opening with dirt this, dirt that. Sounds ridiculous. They have a medical clinic there with an emergency department. So if you've got any health concerns, I guess That's pretty cool. They've got one of those Bali International Medical Centre places there. You'd want to be insured before you go there, I reckon, because that has a reputation of being high standard, but also quite expensive. And if you've got insurance paying for it, it's not a big deal. But if you're paying out of pocket, it could cost you a bit. So I guess it's one of those things, if you're coming to Bali on holiday, make sure you have travel insurance. That's the way to go. So just behind that tree and that pavilion over there, that's where that mall was that I was just in. And then just there is the entrance to the Paradisus Hotel. That's that one owned by the Melia Group. Recently renovated, I discovered when I was there last time. That's a really nice looking place, and there was someone in the comments that said that it is a fantastic hotel. Good location as well. That's like one of the more central hotels, so close to that mall as well. So this is the entrance to the Westin, and we can see again that big tree over there and that little pavilion. That's how close that mall is again to the Westin. So another really close hotel to the centre. There's a good hotel, that Westin. I went there for Christmas lunch and it was just really good. I actually preferred it, to be honest. Like, I went to the Undas the year after from a Christmas lunch, and I preferred the Westin to the Undas, even though the Westin was more old school and less sort of up to the minute. For me, it was just more generous, I think. It had more options. Yeah, I think I just sort of preferred it a bit in that way. The other thing at the Westin was that there was just like a lot of families there. It seemed like families had been going there year after year after year. It had this real family close feeling about it, which I find, well, I think that might be quite difficult to get in other places, to be honest. So the Westin for Christmas lunch, like, I'd really recommend it if you can get in there. The thing about this inland walking path is that even though there's not a heap on it, you have these really nice gardens. So like, if you're a runner, well, this is a really good place to run. Come out of your hotel and walk along here. I think you probably get a bit more shade along here because there's so many more trees compared to the path. I mean, the path I have run on before and it's decent as well. But let's say you're going to do a loop, you can just go down the beach path and then down this way on the way back. That's the main roundabout coming in. Like, most people will come in through that road over there when they come into Nusa Dua, and then around the roundabout like that. Yeah, I mean, so I'll go down there just a little bit further, but there's actually not much up there except a few hotels and no shops because we're still in that hotel complex. When you go out the northern end of here, which is about, I don't know, maybe 500 metres or a kilometre further, you then get into Tanjung Benoa, yeah, or Benoa, whichever one you want to call it. So Tanjung Benoa is what we used to always call it. And that area, again, is filled with local businesses, shops, restaurants, cafes, warungs, spas, laundry places, like everything you can imagine is up there. And that's another good place to sort of step out to when you're based here in Nusa Dua, is to go up to Tanjung Benoa, because it's really got everything you want. There's even water sports up there that you can do that are highly negotiable. Some good beaches up there as well. A decent place just to walk up and down, have a bit of an explore up in Tanjung Benoa. Would you walk there? I mean, I would walk there, but some people might not. They might not like walking in this heat. The strange thing about this is I don't think I've passed another person along this stretch yet at all. Not even, like, there's not even a person here at all walking around, which is, I don't know, a little bit sad. I actually think it's quite pleasant. Like, okay, the beach is the big highlight here, but I don't know, this big jungle feel going for a walk, I think it's quite nice. If I had a bicycle especially, I would be coming up and down here. And the other thing is I'm not seeing many bicycles at all, almost zero. Well, I'm glad I sort of walked along this side of the hotels today here in Nusa Dua. It's really sort of given me a different feel for the place, and it's nice to go and discover a few new places as well, and perhaps have a look at that mall and stop in for a few cakes. It's quite nice. Actually, Nusa Dua has surprised me a little bit over the past couple of times I've been here, and it feels a bit more like a place that I'd be happy to stay, whereas before my view on it was just so negative. But now I kind of like it. I think it's really grown up over the past 20 years. It's matured, and now that it's been around for almost 50 years, it does have an established feel about it, which is quite nice. Hey, thanks for coming along for the ride today here in Nusa Dua, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sanur and the rest of Indonesia. I'll catch you next time, and sampai jumpa.